Free will is a term you often hear when watching videos related to manifestation. There are countless videos on this topic that contain the opinions of different people. Some say that free will exists, and some say it does not. Those who say it does not exist are further questioned about this concept. People ask them if it exists. If it does, that means the other person is a puppet, and we can make them do whatever we wish to. Some YouTubers agree to this, while others say people are not puppets. Now, when you hear this, you get confused about what is happening. Is it real or not? If it does not exist, that will further imply that manifesting a specific person is a lie, and you will not be able to do it. However, there are numerous success stories in which people marry their specific person. This only adds to your confusion. Recently, no one is talking about free will, but there was a time when it was discussed on every YouTube channel. Back then, I was confused about what those people were talking about. You've probably heard about it if you've been following Neville Goddard's teachings. If you did, comment down below, yes, I have heard about it. Just like you, it was strange for me when one person said that people are like puppets, and another said, no, they aren't. The idea of holding others as puppets seems very disturbing to me personally. Even if we take away the emotional aspect, life becomes boring. Imagine playing a video game in which all the characters are controlled by you. Assuming others are puppets seems like a bad idea to me, because it then makes us think that we can control the other person. The human desire to control others arises. It appears fun at first, but it can quickly turn ugly. There are some particular channels that explain this concept from a perspective that shocked me. The concept of free will was taught to remove the limitations on manifestation in order to demonstrate that manifesting a specific person was possible. Some people rejected it, but others accepted it. But if you understand the spiritual principles in Neville Goddard's teachings, you will realize that consciousness is the only reality, and we are one. This means that there is no other. We all come from the same consciousness, and if we are assuming that an individual does not have free will, that in turn means that we are sharing the same consciousness, and we too don't have free will. Now, how do you feel? Before making any judgments about it, wait for me to complete it. When we reach the end, you will know exactly where I am taking this, and you will be relieved of all your doubts. On the other hand, there were those who believed in the existence of free will. Some accepted it, but the people who were manifesting specific people thought that if it does not exist, then I cannot manifest my specific person. All these affirmations would not work. Both of these perspectives created lots of confusion during those days. I, too, struggled with determining what was correct at first. Then, I started reading Neville Goddard's book, and I realized a very beautiful thing. Both parties, who held opposing views on free will, were correct. But how? How can both statements be correct? You too might be wondering about it. Well, when you get what I am about to say, it will be an aha moment for you. So, when I was flipping the pages, I came across a very beautiful line that said you have free will to choose your assumptions. If you look at this closely, this means that free will to choose your experience exists. There are no doubts about this thing. Further, if we look at it, we can notice that I can freely make an assumption about you that will manifest. If you read this far and reach a conclusion about the law, you will maintain the illusion that only I have free will, and you are puppet to me. With only this much information, the first group of people will be correct. Just for a moment, how would you feel when I called you my puppet? I can make you my slave. You will cry for your freedom. See how devilish it sounds. But neither the first nor the second group of people explained why it is possible. They didn't solve the query. They told you that you have free will in your own reality, and I have free will in mine. Saying this also violates the principle that we are one consciousness. This would create two distinct individuals. Now, what is the cure for this? When this group of people talked, they failed to mention a core teaching of Neville Goddard that will clear all of your doubts. The teaching is that creation is finished. Now, how will this help? Let me explain a little bit about this. Neville said that creation is finished. We are not creating anything. We are choosing a possibility out of infinite possibilities. There are numerous versions of you and me. In some realities, we are lovers. In others, we are enemies. Yet in another, we are friends with benefits. And in still others, we are business partners. So, all of these realities exist in parallel dimensions, referred to as parallel realities. We talk about multiverses, which say there are infinite versions of universes existing right now. So, when you manifest, you simply choose to experience a reality in which you assume a person to be of a certain characteristic. And the moment you do it, you shift into a parallel reality, and you too become a different version of yourself. When you realize this, you will no longer doubt free will. It will appear to you as an illusion, and you will no longer think that you have to control others. You are just interacting with a parallel version of their existence. Notice how relaxed you feel right now. This will also give you a thrill, as that person also exits. He or she is not your puppet to play with. On the other hand, when you misinterpret it, you start believing, oh, they are my puppets, and I will mold them as much as I like. When manifesting with these assumptions, you will feel the need to check the external reality for evidences, and you will be concerned about whether or not they have changed. All those doubts would start arising, and you would make that person the sole objective of your life. How does this sound to you? Does this sound like something that seemed fun in the beginning and then turned out to be ugly? That's all there is to it. This is what I think about free will. You have free will to choose your assumptions and imaginary acts. As you choose a specific assumption, you are choosing a specific version of another out of the infinite versions that exist. Theoretically speaking, when you attempt this, you land in a very similar space and time. You won't notice much difference, but there will be a change. A change so subtle that you will wonder whether there is any difference or not. But don't worry, things have shifted in the background, and as you go on with your days, performing the same imaginary act, you will shift from multiple realities to the reality that you have always experienced in your imaginary acts. In my opinion, that's how manifestation works. This is all the game of free will, which is why both groups are correct in their ways. Free will does and does not exist. When you understand this, you will agree with both parties and recognize the illusion of free will and why you don't have to be concerned about free will. The only thing that matters are your assumptions, because persistent assumptions harden into facts. So, I hope I cleared a major doubt that you might have faced in your manifestation journey. Tell me in the comments section about your opinions on this topic of free will. If you liked this video, subscribe to my channel. I will meet you with another golden nugget. Happy manifesting!